Right on. Next one is Mike. Mike says, hello, everyone. Can you please share some basic guidelines about backlinks, specifically about the text when doing backlinks, when to use exact match keywords for anchor text link or my brand anchor text, when writing a small post or short reply on forums, what information you suggest to include in the text and what links. Okay, there's a lot of questions squeezed into this one, Mike. So on a kind of a broad level, personally, I don't really sweat backlink um, ratios as far as anchor text ratios like I used 2 years ago, because I mainly just do everything through naked URLs, and like any real backlinks that are going to be built are going to be built by my team at MGYB by Dedia, and he knows what to do. You just provide him with your seed set of keywords, and he creates all the ratios to where I don't really bother with it because I don't really build my links outside of what we have him do. But really, I use mainly when I'm doing like press releases, for example, because I do publish a lot of press releases. It's almost 90% just naked URLs. Do brand anchors. I very rarely actually use any keyword anchor text because it's not really, now off page, I mean, on page, that's a different story. So, you want to have, if you have content silos on page, you want to make sure that you're linking through the content, to daisy chain things together using variations of keywords that belong in that specific silo, but not always the same page or the same keyword anchor. But as far as link building or blogging, even and by the way, when you do that, if you're syndicating content to a network, it's going to make sure that you're not always hammering and getting external links from even your syndication network, your branded network, always pointing back with the same anchor text. That's why you want to do that. But once again, you also have all those keywords that we add. The same type of keywords that we would add to a drive stack build would be the ones that we would add to the link building campaign. And it's a way to just continue to push relevancy in. At different tiers, there's different sets of rules as to what you can do as far as anchor text ratios, right? So again, I just hand that over to Dedia and he handles all of it. You want to add to that, anybody?
Yeah, not to that, but to the next part. So
okay.
Yeah, for that first part, generic, naked, and brand anchors, right?
Yeah.
Because what we want to do is we want to create link diversity. Once you have that, then it's a lot more powerful when you hit it with whatever anchor text it is that the broad, right? And then you can go really you can hone in on the exact match, because your link diversity is going to withstand some exact match anchors. If you don't do that though, if you don't get those generic, naked, brand anchors and whatever you can in there, then what's going to happen is you're going to get it's totally unnatural, over optimization problems. And if you raise enough red flags that way, it could cause a manual, which is when you get into all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Cool. You gonna add to that? Looked like you were getting ready to add to it.
I'm good.
So I was looking at this next part. When writing a small post or a short reply on the forums, what information do you suggest to include in the text and what links? For me, I mean, I'd start out by saying that it's too vague. But if you're just doing this, I look at this as you probably want to look at it more from, hey, what information makes sense? And if you're doing this for an actual strategy, that you're putting information out there that increases the likelihood that your post is going to get traffic, which I understand sounds kind of goofy, but for a forum that it's well received, right? And basically I'm saying quality, don't just say I've got to include X, Y, and Z. If you're going in here and doing this for long-term strategy, I would say make sure you're putting out quality information.
Not only that, but if you really want to know how to test what type of a text and link to use as your best link for a forum signature, test it in AdWords, like search, you know what I'm saying? Because if you can get your headline and your brief description and then the link and the offer to convert on through AdWords, then that's what you put it in your forum signature, and you'll probably you'll have a lot more likelihood of it doing well. I mean, it's because you can test it quicker is my point, other than trying to have some signature line that really isn't very compelling and it doesn't convert very well, and you have to wait for weeks or months to get any results to determine that, right? Because you've done a lot of posts, you can really kind of hone that in very quickly using AdWords or Google Ads, and then add those to your forum signatures, if that makes sense.
Cool.
Okay, anything else? Is it better to link most of the times to the homepage or a specific service or product page? I hope it's not too complex of a question. Well, there's a lot of questions you squeeze in there. I think it depends on what your call to action is within the content that you're using for the link building, right? I think it makes sense to link to the homepage at times, but also to more specific You also, more specific product and or service pages. However, you also got to keep in mind, like, what is the purpose of the content that you're doing and the overall strategy for that campaign? Because if you're trying to push, specific, a specific keyword, like for a particular silo, for example, you can hit any one of the pieces of content within that silo, which you would call a deep link, because it's not going to matter if you have the on-page structured correct, which is what we talk about a lot in the mastermind. Then anywhere that you're going to hit that particular silo with, inbound link equity, it's going to benefit the entire silo, right? So you want to comment on that, anybody?
Good.
Marco?
No, I would just say, I'm
sorry.
And no, as a general strategy, he should be probably looking at distributing backlinks through his inner pages,
Throughout.
deep linking.
Correct.
But yeah, beyond that, like Bradley said, it just depends on, again, what you're referencing or what exactly you're doing, but you definitely want a distribution.
Yeah. I mean, in other words, you don't want to just always hammer one or the other. Does that make sense? You do want to split it up and spread it out.
This is good.
We
Let's
got a
see
crazy
how many bees we can have come over.
Get out of here, you bastard. He's trying to get my beer.
What matters here is how the website is set up, right?
Right.
Are you setting up the home page to convert, or are you setting up a category, right? Pages as categories, or categories as pages, where you're looking to push your silo through your supporting posts, and then that top market level category is going to be what you're trying to rank, because that's where you want people to convert. Actually, you want people to convert all along the way. But just to be sure on the question, if you're link building to an inner page, right, then you make sure that you have it set up so that you're pushing that top market level category up, because that's what's going to bring all of the other keywords with it. It doesn't make sense to only link build to the home page if what you're trying to rank resides somewhere on an inner page in a category or in a post, or maybe it's a lander within the website. It all has to do with how everything is set up. How your website is set up should be how you direct your link building.
Awesome. Thanks, man.